The artillery stops. That is worse. For hours, the guns have hammered the sky until the sound became part of you. Every shell shook the trench walls. Every impact sent wet dirt down your collar and into your boots. The wooden supports groaned. Sandbags burst open. Water trembled in puddles at your feet. At some point during the night, you stopped flinching. Not because you became brave, because your body ran out of fear. Then, just before dawn, the bombardment ends. No crash, no thunder, no screaming shell falling from the clouds, only rain ticking against sandbags, water dripping from helmets, boots shifting quietly in the mud. A whistle blows. The trench goes silent, not peaceful silence, waiting silence. You look down the line. Men who had been laughing a few minutes ago now stare at the trench wall. One grips a photograph in his hand, trying to keep it dry. Another mutters a prayer so quietly that only his lips move. Private Ellis stands near the ladder. He is 18, maybe younger. His uniform hangs too loosely from his shoulders, and his boots have been swallowed by mud twice this morning. Yesterday he told you about his father's shop back home. When this is over, he said, I'll go back and help him fix bicycles. When this is over, nobody says if anymore. Ellis looks at you. Do you think it stopped? He asks. You know he does not mean the artillery. You want to tell him yes. You want to say this silence means the war is finished, that both sides have finally looked across no man's land and realized no patch of mud is worth another life. But then you hear the sound, a faint metallic click from somewhere beyond the trench, then another. Machine guns being loaded. You swallow. They're waiting, you say. Ellis nods slowly, like he already knew. A sergeant forces his way down the trench, stepping over duck boards and loose boards floating in the mud. Ready yourselves, he shouts. First wave on the ladders. You move when the whistle sounds. Rifles are checked, bayonets are fixed. Men tighten their straps and stare toward the ladder, as though looking at the door of a burning house. But you are not part of the first wave. You are a runner. People think that makes you lucky. You do not carry a heavy pack. You do not always climb into the open with a rifle. You are supposed to stay behind the attack, moving through trenches while other men fight ahead. But you know what happens to runners. Telephone wires are the first things the shells destroy. Every line is cut, buried, or hanging uselessly from broken posts. Signal lamps vanish in smoke. Carrier pigeons can get lost, shot, or simply refuse to fly through a sky filled with explosions. So when everything else fails, the message goes with you. And when the message goes with you, so does every man depending on it. A lieutenant steps toward you. His coat is wet and his face is streaked with soot. He is young enough that, somewhere else, you might mistake him for a university student. Runner, he says. You straighten. Sir. He removes a folded paper from a waterproof map case. For a moment, he hesitates. Then he presses it into your hand. Company B is holding in the old forward trench, he says. Deliver this to Captain Hargreaves. You glance at the folded paper. What is it? Their order to advance, he says. They move when the second wave reaches the wire. You look at him. The wire was supposed to be destroyed. The lieutenant's eyes flick toward no man's land. It was supposed to be. You tuck the note beneath your tunic, inside the buttoned flap. It weighs almost nothing, but it feels heavier than your rifle ever did. The lieutenant catches your sleeve. Do not lose it. You nod. Then the whistle blows again. This time, the trench erupts. Men climb the ladders. For 1 second, their silhouettes rise above the trench wall against the pale gray morning. Boots on wooden rungs, rifles close to their chests, faces lifted toward the broken land ahead. Then the machine guns begin. The sound tears across the battlefield. Not like a single weapon, like someone ripping apart sheets of metal without stopping. You hear shouts, then screams, then the sickening thud of bodies falling back into the trench. You do not look for Ellis. You cannot. You turn and run in the opposite direction. Down the communication trench, past men hauling ammunition boxes, past stretcher bearers trying to move through mud thick enough to steal their boots, past a field telephone operator shouting into a receiver connected to a line that has already gone dead. Hello? Headquarters? Can anyone hear me? No one answers. A shell lands somewhere nearby. You do not hear it arrive. There is only a flash, a wave of heat. Then the trench wall hits you hard. You wake face down in mud. For a few seconds, you cannot hear anything except a thin ringing inside your skull. Dirt fills your mouth. Your shoulder burns when you try to move it. You reach inside your coat. The message is still there, dry, folded, waiting. So you force yourself up. A corporal lies beside you, half covered by loose earth and broken boards. His eyes are open. You recognize him. He gave you half a biscuit last night. You want to stop, to pull him free, to say his name. But another shell whistles overhead. So you run. The communication trench gets narrower until it becomes a muddy scar between collapsed walls. Ahead, the path is gone completely. The shelling has torn the trench apart. Beyond the crater is open ground. No man's land? The old forward trench is less than 100 yards away. Less than a minute if this were a road back home. Here, it might as well be another world. Smoke crawls across the craters. Barbed wire lies in twisted coils over the mud. Broken rifles point from the earth. You see shapes in the fog that might be men crawling, or might be men who stopped moving long ago. Gunfire cracks from somewhere to your right. Then a soldier staggers toward you from behind. His helmet is gone. Blood runs down the side of his face. "They're pinned!" he cries. "At the wire! They're pinned at the wire!" He stumbles past you and disappears into the smoke. You grip the edge of the trench. You know what waits out there. But the message is inside your coat. Company B is waiting. So you climb. The moment your head rises above the trench wall, the entire world opens around you. The sky is low, gray, and choked with smoke. Artillery flashes on the horizon. Bullets snap through the air like whips. You run. One bullet strikes the mud beside your boot. Another hits a shattered post behind you. You dive into the nearest crater. Cold water floods into your sleeves. Your hands sink into black mud. You press yourself against the crater wall, trying to make your body smaller than it is. Then you hear breathing. Someone is crouched beside you. Private Ellis. He is alive. His helmet is missing. Blood runs from a cut across his cheek. His rifle is gone. For a moment, neither of you says anything. Then he looks toward the wire. "They said it would be gone," he whispers. You follow his gaze. The bombardment was supposed to cut the wire apart. Instead, thick coils still stretch across no man's land, tangled and sharp. Through the smoke, you can see men trapped against it. Some are trying to climb over. Some are trying to cut through. Some are not moving. "They told us this would work," Ellis says. You do not know what to say. Everyone was told something, that the guns would crush the enemy trenches, that the wire would be destroyed, that this attack would break the line, that if they took one more trench, one more village, one more field, the war would finally end. You pull the folded paper from your coat. "I have to reach the forward trench." Ellis sees the message. He looks at it with something close to anger. Not at you, at the paper, at the officers, at a war where a few written words can send men over the top. "I'll come with you," he says. "No," you tell him. "Get back." He gives a bitter laugh. "Back where?" You look behind you. The trench you came from has disappeared behind smoke, shell bursts, and falling dirt. There may be no way back. An explosion shakes the ground. For one moment, the blast drowns out every gun and every scream. You climb out of the crater. "Now," you say. You run together. 10 yards, then 20. The forward trench grows closer through the smoke, a ragged line of sandbags and broken timber. A burst of machine gun fire tears above your head. Ellis grabs your coat and pulls you down. Bullets cut through the air where you were standing. You crash into the mud. Ellis is breathing hard beside you. "Go," he says. "Together?" You rise again. You are almost there. You can hear men shouting from the forward trench. You can see a green flare climbing into the gray sky. Then Ellis falls. At first, you think he slipped, but he does not get up. You stop. Everything inside you tells you to go back, grab him, pull him the final few yards, do anything except leave him there. But bullets strike the mud around you. Ellis turns his head. His face is pale. "Go," he whispers. You want to promise you will come back. But you cannot make promises in this place. So you run. You jump into the forward trench and land among wounded men, empty ammunition crates, and soldiers firing blindly over the sandbags. A hand grabs your shoulder. "Who are you?" "Runner," you gasp. For Captain Hargreaves. The soldier points down the trench. You move past a medic pressing bandages onto a man's chest. Past a boy clutching a rifle and crying as he tries to reload it. Past a telephone operator staring at a dead wire. Finally, you find Captain Hargreaves at the entrance to a dugout. He is hunched over a map. For one strange moment, he looks calm, as if the battle outside belongs to another world. You pull the message from your coat. Your hands are shaking. The paper is muddy around the edges, but the writing is still clear. From battalion headquarters, you say. He takes it, reads it once, then reads it again. His face changes. Not fear, confusion. Sir? You ask. He looks up at you. This order was sent an hour ago. Your stomach drops. That can't be right. The second wave was supposed to reach the wire before the Company B advanced. They're at the wire now, you say. I saw them. Captain Hargreaves grips the message tighter. Then he goes pale. No, he says quietly. This says the second wave was never meant to advance. Before you can answer, another officer bursts into the dugout. His uniform is soaked with mud and blood. Captain, he shouts. Movement in the German trenches. Hargreaves looks toward the trench entrance, then back at you. Runner, he says. He removes another folded paper from his map case and presses it into your hand. Take this to headquarters. You stare at it. What does it say? For a moment, he says nothing. Then a whistle blows outside. But it is not your whistle. It is coming from the other side of no man's land. The trench goes silent. Captain Hargreaves looks toward the smoke. They know, he whispers. And from somewhere beyond the wire, you hear boots climbing out of the enemy trench.